Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. We've got a brand new episode of the War Room, like always. Going to be covering BxM here as well as the other lines you just noticed. This is going to be some different little bits, a little bit of strategy, a little bit of theory crafting in the start, and then we're going to go into some really amazing open field gameplay with BxM and Anks. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode of the War Room. Welcome to today's episode. Yes, we're going to be covering some theory crafting here, and it is a really cool bit of showmanship here by BxM, and there's a little bit of theory crafting, right? We have a massive murder ball, as you can see, cabs and cabs, right? So what would happen if you was going to use these in the battlefield? Because you're going to see different scenarios in this where you got these cavalry units here, and then the enemy cavalry units where you positioned in the little chasm there. And by being in those two positions, the cavalry units can, in theory, just block any incoming threats, right? But this river does cause a problem, right? If you're an infantry player or a marksman player, you're going to be in that black dead zone during the war. But that river there is where you're going to be able to obviously flank in between the back line. So this is going to be really weird. Obviously you can see where I'm typing in rock. That is so open, that big black zone. It is going to feel more like you're playing Rise of Kingdoms, of how open. There's no real terrain there when it comes to that type of combat. So the cavalry kind of do get quite a good free range. So they can figure out these big open lines they can take and take advantage of it, right? So we're going to go to another example in a moment, and then we're going to showcase some amazing PvP footage, right? But again, I was just going to try and show, this is just a theory on trying to specialize in one march, right? Having just one march together and having that one march consolidated so it's a special unit, right? So you can see all those are just cabs ready to go and flank if needed. So we're going to see another part of footage of that right about now. Welcome back. You can see some absolute carnage in the background, but we're gonna continue with the theory crafting with what we can see in the discussion, right? So right now what is going on is a massive open field combat with the Anks versus the BxM. But what you can see really cleverly though on the flanks is little sharks, and this is where we're going to try and keep focus on those cavalry units, right? If you can pay attention, you can see a bunch of cavalry even on the right side of flanks being used to basically move around and protect this main murder ball that's being lined out for you guys so you can understand where this battlefield is. But that little sharks there is playing a perfect role protecting that flank from other cavalry units, right? And this is where that theory crafting is talking about, where you can see the battlefield and see an open zone, but here, now where they were fighting in a more closed environment, you can actually see the abuse of potentially flying units, like we're seeing right here with Lazy Life using the Atheist March to fly over and Slayer on the actual mountaintop, right? So this is the power of flanks, and I hope you can see where the beginning part of this opening section of the theory craft is now transitioning into the gameplay footage, right? It makes sense from what we're saying, where you can use your cavalry units to either blink over, use them to use their march speed to get an advantage, flying units that can basically go again over certain mountains and rivers to cause crazy flanks, and those flanks are what you can see grants a murder ball great advantage. Because the thing is, you got to think, a murder ball's main priority is always trying to target the same march, right? If it keeps targeting those same marches, it's going to deal insane damage and burn through all the enemies as fast as it can with all the AoE. However, if you are getting hit from 2 different fronts or 3 different fronts, if you've got different, flying units hitting you from the left and cavalry units coming from the right, what ends up happening is your murder ball starts to lose its power because it's getting split, right? All of the focus and attention is getting split of your murder ball, and you need all that attention to be on the same target. So here is a really good example of it, right? We've got loads of mage units that are blocking the way BxM can escape. So instead of running, as you can see, the BxM member continues to fight. So really good showmanship of flying units being able to be abused over these terrains, and cavalry units being used as an offensive and defensive tool for your murderball. And I hope that makes sense now when you start to really look at the replay, right? Because the replay between Anx and BxM here is a phenomenal replay. We've got loads more to go through, so don't you worry. But this one showcases the power of AoE combat with your little subdivisions that are working almost like independently, but their goal is to protect the main ball, right? And it's really good to see that, because you can see BxM there coming over the hill with some flying cavalry and immediately getting melted and killed, right? So really good way of showcasing how to keep your strength in numbers and focus correctly on those tight flanks. So here is a really cool one. This is the Mexican standoff before the next screen that's going to turn into the initial push. So you can see here, while this is going to get replayed for a little while, the position of everyone, right? So all of the 066 and BxM members are located in this top section, right? And by being located in that top section, what it allows them is to be spread out, and if they need to push, they can push through, but it creates a tight pact, right? So if Anx push forward for the offense, basically BxM can just pull back a little bit, give them that space, but they're in that closed area. So you can see the forced choke here, and if they want to go on the offensive, BxM have the opportunity to use, as you can see, the flying units here from Mage Code, showing a little quick example of it, just going over like that and causing problems for you where you think all of it is through the middle. So let's move over. Let's showcase now the craziness of this fight. We're going to do some nice PvP commentary here as well to try and break it down for you to end the whole episode, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it so far. So another reason you can see here from that insane opening, 066 and BxM pull the trigger first. So they're going in for the kills, trying to stop Anx here from building any further. And the swab is absolutely nuts. And you can see the positioning drawn out there. A nice quick arrow, right? A triangle like this creates a quick focal point that all of your alliance members can see where you're aiming for. So right now, the middle is aiming on towards the Anx's main line, and Duck Nation is being the front line for it, right? So you can see how they are positioning their front line to be this main point, and then all of that AoE is backed up behind them, right? It is going to get crazy here. I'm just going to let you guys know, because there's so much action happening on here that if you do unfortunately zoom in and zoom out, what will end up happening is UIs will disappear. The game will still be running and it will still be working for so long, but eventually the UI will disappear, and that's because there's so much going on. The game can't basically give you the correct info. So here is a good example of it, right? So if we zoom in now, you can't see any UI, and you've got to wait for the game to basically populate the damage being dealt and the threat being created for it to be showcased. But I'm just saying, for a cinematic, it looks beautiful, seeing no portraits or nothing if you're going to try and create one of those type of cool videos here. But the combat is still happening here. So what I'm going to do though is fast forward time when we get the UI back and finish off this main fight. Welcome back, guys. So yeah, like I said, it does take a while for the game to basically catch up. So all it's trying to do there, because there is so much happening on screen, that the game basically goes into focus mode and it showcases all the damage, everything in animation wise, and then it will start to calculate, like I said, all the matches taking the most damage, who's dealing the most damage. So then it basically showcases the correct amount of information you need to go on. So it is going to be a bit of craziness, and to be honest guys, this is on the maximum settings on the PC client. So you can imagine if I load it down, it probably wouldn't have as many issues as it had in this recording here. But here is the end of that BxM push, and they did a fantastic job. If you notice, they was able to surround the main Ank's ball, and by surrounding that main Ank's ball, they all focused down the main front line and then punched through as one major swarm and killing that units. So really good. I enjoyed this footage from BxM and 066, and this is only some of it. We've got loads more to cover in future episodes of the War Room. So I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video on theory crafting on cavalry flanks and the ability to flank over environments, because if you potentially use them to your advantage, as you can see here, both alliances have different approaches where you can gain advantages and protect your ball, right? So really good showcase from BxM winning their version of it, and then earlier we got to saw Anks winning their main murder ball and defensive from the different flanks from the BxM alliance. So that is going to be today's episode of the War Room. Thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed it and learned something today, smash a like, comment and subscribe till another episode, and hit that notification bell, because if you do, anytime I live stream, we're in random quickly spurs, as you can imagine, when like Roots of War is going to happen, for example, you will get notified, right? Because you're going to get notified, then you'll know to join in straight away, and you can follow the live stream from the get-go, right? So I hope you've enjoyed it. Smash that like, comment and subscribe. Until next time though, stay safe, stay sneaky. Peace out, everyone.